The champs, they're making a historic run. The Los Angeles Dodgers had defeated the Atlanta Braves 6-5 on Wednesday, and of course, it comes in crazy fashion that on his first bobblehead night, that Shohei Ohtani, walk off homer to win the game and make them go into the history books as the only World Series champion to begin 8-0 in all of Major League history. So, of course,
You think
it's
he's
always a story. It's always a freaking storybook with Shohei Ohtani. Am I right? Like,
yeah, you think the media outlets picked that up quick enough? I think
yeah,
I got 17 different notifications about it right after it happened, and I mean he's a global superstar, so I it makes sense to be able to cover him at the level they are, and it's a great team, and it's this is a team that from 1 to 9 in the batting lineup, and from 1 to maybe 9 in the pitching department, they're going to be able to go after you. This is competing with some of those Yankees teams from the late 90s, early 2000s as one of the best, probably talent wise, baseball teams of all time.
yeah, oh yeah, we could always say that. I mean, they're trying to make a quest for 162-0. I mean, obviously that's most likely not going to happen, but I want to say that Dave Roberts. They talk about Dave Roberts is the best. Probably what is he like the one of the best managers in the MLB history and things like that. I'm like, you can't really say that. Look at the teams he's had. The teams he's had. I mean, were literally some of the best teams we have ever seen assembled. Like this is starting to look like LeBron and the Heat. They were supposed to win, though during those times when LeBron was with the Heat and D Wade and Boston and back in 2014 and things like that.
Well, that's what I'm going to add to that is like you look at this team and then you look at a team like the Guardians who has like a fifth of their spendings and they're finishing 10 to 15 games behind them pretty consistently in past years and really getting the most out of guys that they're not paying a whole lot of money to. So I think that you just have to look at the fact that I think their overall talent is going to be their floor and their ceiling obviously is the World Series. We saw it last year. In terms of doing it again, it's always very difficult. But I mean, they have enough to do it, and they have enough to, I think, possibly go and win at least 115 games, 110 games.
They'll probably have the best. I can see it. I mean, I don't really see a team that can really beat them in a 3-4 game series. I mean, the Chicago Cubs are pretty good right now. When the Dodgers play the Yankees, they'll be pretty. They'll be probably ready for the task, even though they've dropped like 2 of their last 3. You look at the Brewers as well. They're starting to get hot again. What they won a series just now against the Kansas City Royals, so they're going to most likely be there. Then obviously the Phillies, but like I said, when you look at that rotation that they got and the lineup they have, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard for them to, really lose a series like that. Let's take a look at his walk off homer. If we can get some video.
Shohei Ohtani on his bobblehead night.
I mean, good for him, man. Right?
Right.
He's a superstar. He's one of the most dynamic players we have ever seen, and we probably ever will see. And I mean, those are moments that LA is kind of built for at this point.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when you seen Dodger Stadium, it was rocking. Um, it was actually it probably one of the best environments you could be in, especially because they had gave away his first bobblehead night of the season. And then going trying to chase a record, that ticket was probably very expensive to even just to sit in the nosebleeds. It probably cost you a couple $100. So I want to get into what Dave Roberts said after the game. He was asked, "Do you think the team could go 162-0?" He said, "Although that's possibly and probably impossible, but we feel like we can do it." He said, "Each night we take the field, I feel like we're going to win." Well, when you have Otani, you have Freddie Freeman, you got Mookie Betts, even a small Mookie Betts who's lost 20 pounds in Tokyo. He's still hitting homers. He has like what 4 homers already.
Yeah, and those guys, they're going to have power, I'd say, probably all the way down to the 7-hitter at that rate. Because, I mean, the one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is Max Muncy and his ability to just work really long pitch counts. That dude will follow off about 5 or 6 pitches, and I mean, he's a power bat, so he can give you that home run, but he's gonna help you draw walks and extend games. And really, for a team like this, I mean, that's all you really need. If you got to waste 8 to 9 pitches on Max Muncy and he only hits them gets to hit a quarter of the time, that's probably a win for most teams, or at least for the Dodgers when you got all the other stars, Mookie, Freddie, Shohei, all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, and then when you look at their bench as well, just look at the bullpen even. Tanner Scott, they got what Padres last season. You got Kirby Yates, who was with the Texas Rangers as well. So a team that won 100 plus games and went on to win the World Series in dominating fashion, and they got better. That it's most likely going to be a repeat. So we can look at the
And I think that
standings.
they're
Oh, go ahead.
no, you're good. I think they're going to get better, and here's why. I think that the Twins are going to have to trade Byron Buxton, and I don't know if there's going to be anybody who's going to be able to offer him a better package than the Dodgers. The Dodgers really need a center fielder. They got Andy Pages working there right now. I mean, you can stick like a Tommy Edman in there as a utility guy, but they're not going to do that. They value him as that player. So I think that they're going to probably work in for a Buxton or try and pick up another center fielder at the deadline and really solidify the full roster and hopefully avoid the injury bug. I mean, that was the thing last year with pitching. They were a little concerned about that. They obviously have the depth that they can still compete if they lose a few arms, but I'm still interested to see what a full body of work for Ohtani looks like on the pitcher's side of things, because I don't think that he's going to necessarily get the innings that other superstars would.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. Let's take a look at what the standings look like, even though it's 9, 10 games in. And there you go. What stands out the most to me is that the Padres are 7-0. That's pretty impressive as well.
Well, Jalen, you're a Chicago guy. They picked up Gavin Sheets, and he's been a monster so far.
Oh yeah, I was a Chicago guy, but not a White Sox guy. That's my dad.
Sure. That's about. I mean, he was kind of dreadful on the White Sox, and to be able to kind of make his way over to San Diego and start raking. I don't know if he's going to keep it up, but I think that a lot of Sox fans on the South Side are kicking themselves right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of South Side. I mean, Yohan Moncada, if you look at the Angels, he's got off to a hot start too. So if you're a Sox fan, you're like, what the, what the heck, So was actually another surprising thing is that the Braves are 0-7. They got swept by the Padres and they got swept by the Dodgers. So that is actually, and they only have 14 runs scored total throughout the entire season.
Yeah, the offense has been dreadful, and they finally were able to get something going in that last Dodgers game, putting up 5. But before that, it was their top players, Riley, Harris, Albies. Those guys were hitting around 400 OPS, and that is not how you're going to make it through the season. Do I think that's going to be sustainable? Probably not. I think that I don't think Michael Harris is going to stay at that level. I think Austin Riley can still go and bat at least 290 this year, and Albies he's going to be able to provide as well. And the biggest hit is just going to be making sure that your pitching doesn't get totally annihilated, because that's how they're going to be able to keep themselves in games. I mean, Marcell Ozuna is still swinging the bat pretty well so far, and that's the funny thing is there's some guys that you can never really tell how they're going to age, and Marcell Ozuna has probably aged better than a lot of guys who were around in his prime. So I think that's still a good pickup for them, and it'll just be interesting. I think they'll turn it around. It'll be very tough to, though, compete with the top of that division, though.
Yeah, I mean, when you get Ronald Acuna to come back as well, once he slides back into the lineup, it's going to be probably a totally different offense. They're just missing their superstar, and when they'll probably be in the hunt at the deadline. So they'll probably end up picking up a bat or maybe some pitching as well. Chris Sale is looked about average. Even though he threw very well against the Dodgers, toward the back end of his start, the Dodgers found a way to, obviously become the Dodgers again. So LA leads the entire MLB with 18 homers. Not no, no, the Yankees lead with 19 homers. The Dodgers have 18. The Cubs have 14, and the A's, the Athletics actually have 11 homers in the first 4 or 5 games.
The
So it might end up being that torpedo bat that we talk about. Let's see. We're probably going to jump into. We probably lost Drew for a second, but like I was saying, when it comes down to baseball as well, the NL Central is going to be probably one of the most toss-ups in the country. When you think about it, the Brewers are, they won 2 out of 3 out of their last 3 games when they played the Royals. And the Royals are no slouch. They're really not a sloucher of a team. When you look at NL Central, then you got the NL West, like I just showed you, to bring it up again. The Padres are 7-0. The Giants are 5-1. The Diamondbacks are 4-2. Obviously, the Rockies are 1-4. I mean, that's going to be tough for them as well, because I don't really think they have a bona fide star that they can actually go on to or lean on. I mean, you got Ezekiel Tovar, and then you got Doyle as well, and then Chris Bryant. But you can't really, count on Chris Bryant to really be there for them, because he's not really that healthy. He can't stay healthy. So I'm going to try to get Drew back on here in a second. But when you think about, and then when you look at the NL East, in NL East, you got the Phillies at 4-1. What's really surprising to me is the Miami Marlins. They're 4-3. They've started the season 3-0, and they had 3 straight walk-off wins, which was pretty impressive in my opinion. I could say it was pretty impressive. So, we got Drew back. No, not yet. Do we? No, we don't. So I'm gonna give you another rundown as well. You got the New York Mets that are 3-3. Oh, there he is. Welcome.
I'm back. Hopefully it stays. Test run of all the equipment. So.
Oh yeah. It's first day. We're gonna have some kinks and some blunders here and there, but I was just giving them a rundown of the NL East and the NL West. That was surprising is the Miami Marlins. They started the season with 3 straight walk-off wins, and the Rockies don't. Or the Rockies are going to probably stay there. I mean, they don't really have a bona fide star. They do, which is Chris Bryant, but he can't really stay healthy as much. So that's what I was saying with that.
Yeah, and I mean the West is the other thing. I mean, obviously minus the Rockies, I think that all those teams can compete, especially if the Giants can find some power. That could be something that could really, I think they have the chance to hop one of these teams and maybe finish in that 3rd place spot if they can be consistent. It's obviously that's the toughest division in baseball, in my opinion, but there's obviously a lot of baseball to be had, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yes, let's see how that definitely plays out.